Hello everyone, in today's video we're going to be taking a look at trying to use collateral damage as a way to hit targets that we don't necessarily see. Now what this kind of got started with is, if you remember from back in the old days when you did amphibious landings, is that one of the strategies you would do is you'd fire a really long preparation where basically your entire navy would point guns at the thing you intend to land on and just start shooting. So of course this is a little difficult to simulate in command because you kind of need fixed targets. I can't just grab this thing, press Control F1 and click, and then like select I want the artillery to land here kind of a thing. So I started working on this puzzle, trying to figure out what would work and what might be a strategy to kind of test it. Is there anything that does work here? And I'll kind of walk you through sort of my tests and sort of some of my results. So the first thing I realized is if I created myself a temporary target near where there were some targets, maybe I could shoot at the temporary target and it would do some damage to the things around it. So if I actually come down here by my pre-planned target number 1 and open that up real quick, let me shut down attack view here. You'll notice there's a bunch of infantry units that are between basically 100 and 150 meters away, which is a pretty good distance, but it's not really safe distance for most heavy weapons here. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go ahead and grab my ship here. I'm going to go ahead and order up a preparation here. We have big old guns here. This looks pretty good to me. I'll go ahead and give it 20, press allocate, go ahead and let her rip. So the interesting thing here, of course, one of the things I really like is you have the little pincushion mode here. You can actually watch the artillery shell make its way across the sky here. And then, of course, it comes riding back down, and it's going to come slamming into the target. I'm going to go ahead and pause right here so I can jump to the other side real fast so you can kind of watch the shell sort of do its thing. So it's going to come in. Again, we're trying to target this pre-planned target, and you can see pretty clearly that stuff kind of landed everywhere, which is pretty typical when it comes to very, very large artillery like that. Now, there's another shell already on its way, so I'm just going to speed up time, and we'll kind of see what happens here. So here comes the next one. We'll see how well this goes. Oh, okay. Pause. Oh, that was actually basically perfect. One of the things you'll notice is that shell landed, let's call it, it's about 17 meters away from this infantry platoon. And you'll probably also observe that they're looking pretty chill right now. Obviously, if they're entrenched or something, that blast might not have done anything to them, but it'd been more of a morale hit than it would have been a physical hit. But the reality is, you can clearly see that was pretty darn close. So I'm sitting here going, looks like my battleship strategy's out. We're going to have to find another way to do this. So I'm going to go ahead and delete my battleship there, and you can watch the little shell return here. So I said, well, what about aircraft? What could we do with an airplane that could simulate the concept of a successful preparation kind of a thing? One of the things I actually did is I wrote a Lewis script once that just peppered the entire beach with explosions all over it, made a lot of noise, and it was kind of fun to play with. Didn't do anything. So what I'm going to do now is we're going to go ahead and grab this F-15E, which is loaded up with a bunch of CBUs. It actually has 12 of them, which is a little absurd. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to order an attack on my pre-planned target here with all of them. We're going to disable that feature, yep. And we're going to just spray them all over the place on the ground there with an intention to try to do as much damage as we possibly can here. And again, the objective for this would be trying to just saturate the area with as many explosions as we can. So let's go speed up time. Actually, sped up pretty good here. They did a recent update which tweaked the speeds of things in a good way, which I think is awesome. All right, so he's ripping across, looking pretty good. I'll go switch to the other team real fast here. Pop over to red real fast in just a few seconds. Of course, that F-15 is going to be doing it. So there he goes. Here we go. Here we go. F-15 on the way. And I believe he has dropped. He did not drop. So I got to double check to make sure that all the parameters were set correctly because he was not ready to fire there. Unpause. You're going to explain to me why you decided not to attack my pre-planned target there? Hit that one out of range horizontal. That's fine with me. Let's get a little bit closer. Sometimes these weapons have very, very specific profiles. I need to be 4,000 feet. Oh, that was a newbie mistake on my part. We can fix that real quick, though. Add unit properties. We'll go to unit properties here. We're supposed to be at 4,000 feet, 3,999. Cool. So now if I move him just a tiny bit there, that should be good. There he goes. Now he's dropped the thing I was asking him to drop. Let's take a look. So these are all CBUs. They're basically designed to just all over the place. That's a technical term, by the way, for dispersing. So this is going to come in. It's a pretty clean spread. Obviously, you're looking at this from a 3D view there. It looks like it's going to go right into our pre-planned target. And you can see it did a fantastic job. It also made a nice little pepper all over the place, which unfortunately, it was just too darn accurate. I need something less accurate. Unfortunately, my F-15 is a little too good at his job here. So I'm going to go ahead and delete the F-15. So that didn't work. So then I sat there going, there's got to be a way to do this. So then I got a little more fancy. And then I said, well, why don't I try something like, one of the Scarabs, an SS-21. I said, all right, we'll give that a shot. So again, I'm ignoring the fact I can see these infantry guys here. I'm going to click right here. I'm going to fire these things. These are SS-21s. Basically, relatively short-range ballistic missiles. They do the job really, really, really well. And one of the amusing things here is you can see just how stupidly high up these darn things go. That's about 50 kilometers up right there. It's halfway to space. And then the things start arcing and they come right back down. Now, the reason I chose the Scarabs, and the reason I really like it for this purpose, is they have a massive spread. Not only do they obviously do a lot of damage, but what they tend to do when they hit the ground is they tend to just spray everywhere. And that's exactly what I was hoping to do, to try to catch those infantry sort of inside of that kind of blast zone. Again, I want an aerial shotgun here. I don't necessarily need something that's hyper precise. So that's not the point of this. You'll see the problem with the HIMARS, and I'm in it for that. So this is going to come in. You can see it's just kind of all over the place. Again, there's my technical term. And you can see it actually did a really, really good job of exactly what I wanted it to do. You can see that it absolutely obliterated that infantry platoon. You can see that it scratched the pre-planned target. If it bothers you that the pre-planned target is not exploding or anything, just go ahead and take a look at his health real quick. It's 100,000 hit points or damage points. You're not going to kill one of these things, even with a nuke. Well, we'll see about that. So you can see that actually worked. So again, using a ballistic missile with combined effect munitions works great. So then, of course, I said, well, let's go use the HIMARS then. Now, HIMARS obviously been in the news a lot lately. This is a very good platform. It also shoots a nice little kind of sort of thing. And you can also see I've got quite a few. These are the GLSDBs. So I'm going to go ahead and allocate all of these, which is going to make quite a mess of the sky here. I'm going to let them go ahead and fire those off. There they go. And again, this is like of these. A lot. A lot. And again, just like the previous weapon here, you can see they get stupidly high off the ground before they start ripping back into the atmosphere here. I'll zoom in a little bit, and they tend to really, really saturate a region. You'll see what I mean when they get here. Here they come. Man, that is... How do you shoot that down? That's real time, by the way. And one malfunction. There we go. And you can see they're all kind of doing their thing. And you can see extremely clearly that they all worked perfectly. They nailed my pre-planned targets and did nothing as far as spreading out whatsoever. Now, you're probably sitting here going, well, did you try the Scud? Of course I tried the Scud. Problem with the Scud is you'd fire and it'd land in the water, even from that distance. Welcome to Scud accuracy. So then I quickly realized, really, the only way you're going to get this is if you have some kind of weapon that's got a lot of spread. It's either going to be a cluster weapon, and I'm talking a ballistic cluster weapon, or you're going to have to deal with something that has a really, really, really big special warhead, because the standard warheads don't really do the collateral damage that we need them to do. So that's when I got a little more creative, and I said, well, what happens if you use something with a little bit bigger warhead in it? So let's see what happens this time. So I'm going to go ahead and shift 1 here, F1, click on that. That should do it. Feels so wrong using this in this way. I like how the HIMARS is firing again. Now, one of the things that's kind of fun here, let's go ahead, not fun, but devastating, is just to get an idea of the altitude this thing travels at. So we are already higher than the space station, and we're higher than all the Gemini program combined. We are getting up into TLI altitudes here. That's, what do we got there? It's 2,200 kilometers. I think that's enough. All right, come on back. But if you'll notice here, not only 22, I'm at 33,487 kilometers up. If we look at this from the side here, most satellites are down here. That will do it. So, of course, this thing has to turn around and come right back down. Talk about a ballistic trajectory, right? So this thing's going to return to Earth, literally. It's going to make a big mess. I'm going to speed up time. Actually, got up to about 4,000 kilometers. That's enough. And what it's going to do is it's going to go ahead and flip on. The little missile bus is going to break off from the warhead, and it's just going to kind of sprinkle the warheads downward here. And, oh boy, this is going to be messy. Got a nice classic Belugan method. Oh, the scenario took too long. Launch the nukes. Please don't do that in the real world. That's not very polite. All right, let's go ahead and zoom in on our action here. I don't want to miss the fireworks, because believe me, there will be fireworks. I like how it says contrail, very large. Now, one of the cool things here is I don't think we're going to see this. We'll try. Nope, we can't see it. You'll see fireball, like in the upper atmosphere, kind of a thing like that. And it is definitely a fireball. If you've ever watched the old Atoll missile tests with the MIRVs and stuff, you can see just the way they pepper the ground. All right, so let's see here. We are still the nose of the missile. We haven't actually split into the individual warheads yet. Like I said, just give it a second. Whoa. Now, that's what I call a beanstalk right there. All right, 1,800 kilometers. We're coming back. What do we got for speed right now? We're doing Mach 15 or so as we're coming back into the atmosphere. Moving pretty quick. That's 15, 16, yep, about 16 Mach. Whoa, there it goes. So there goes the missile bus, and what it does is basically pushes out one little warhead. You can see it just drops one warhead at a time and pushes the next one out, pushes the next one out, and gets you that nice, lovely spread there. So we're going to come zoom in a little bit here, and we're just going to see if this works. Like I said, we're targeting that training target. We're not targeting the infantry that we spotted a little bit earlier. So we're going to have to see exactly what kind of shenanigan this is going to cause here. Wouldn't it be fun to start firing like that at it or something like that? All right, you can go ahead and put the dark goggles that you have reserved on the side of your desk on anytime now, because you'll know what I mean. Just look at how steep these things re-enter. That's insane. You're telling me you're going to reliably hit those? Yeah, I don't think so. Ah, here we are. Like it looks like a couple one a little wide. That's not a problem. Ready? Oh boy, here goes. Oh. Well, I would say that successfully struck the infantry that I was trying to hit. You know, one of the things I find most amusing, can't see, is the fact that, remember how we had a battleship off the coast there? And you're sitting there going, did you just blow up your own battleship? And yeah, I got some bad news. I think I sunk my battleship. Actually, I don't think I sunk my battleship. I think I deleted my battleship. Yeah, I deleted my battleship, but that's okay. Switch back to the other team real fast. Yeah, I definitely blew up my own battleship. Ah, collateral damage. So the super short version is if you're trying to create a preparation situation where you've got like a bunch of targets that you can't necessarily see, the safest thing you can do is to basically hit them with a ballistic missile of some kind. Ballistic missiles, just as a quick reminder from many, many moods ago, is you can actually use ballistic missiles for the purposes of manually engaging a point. And the reason that's so darn helpful is you can pick the point. Let me show you what I mean. So for example, if I were to grab this particular platform right here, if I press Control F1 and I go ahead and pick, let's say, like right here on the ground, I can actually order up an attack here. We did this in a video a while ago, but interestingly enough, even when I tried to kind of work around that video, this still to this day remains the most reliable way to do something like this. And you can see I got sped up time a little too aggressively there. Again, these were all manually targeted. They weren't locked onto this particular point on the ground here. And the reason this is so helpful is if you're writing Lua, and that'll probably be next week, we could write a Lua script that basically, oh, you've got to be kidding me. Did they, what? Well, they all detonated. Huh. I guess, the guy who was packing the submunitions that day, I did a little bit of damage. So whoever was packing the submunitions that day didn't do a great job of it, but you still get an idea of how you can utilize that. And what we'll try to do next time is build a script that basically spams those and just kind of sprinkles the ground with just submunitions everywhere, and I'll see what that does. Enjoy.